Watch you guys, and good morning. You join me back on the bank. It's just starting to get light and I'm setting my gear up and I'm being as quiet and as stealthy as possible. So I've got the pod up, just about to start rigging up, and we'll get the baits out soon. I'm back on Watergate Farm. I'm back in the usual swim. I see on social media a couple of fish came out of the lake yesterday, so and I think they came from this sort of area, judging by the pictures. So I'm going to give it a go. It's very damp, quite cold. It was 0 degrees in the car this morning. We've got a bit of fog, a bit of mist, and yeah. So like I say, I've got my rigs to put on the rods, got to put the baits on, and yeah, we'll get sorted. I've already been out, put a bit of bait over the spots I'm going to be fishing. Just half a handful of crumb, that's all I put out there. Don't need a lot this time of year, so yeah, like I say, nice and quiet does it, nice and easy. Don't want to spook any fish that may already be there, so I'll catch you in a bit. Watch guys, as you can see the rods are set up in the usual spots. It took me a couple of casts on each rod to get it just where I wanted it, so kicking myself a bit. But anyway, hopefully I haven't disturbed the swim too much. I've not seen any signs of fish anywhere on the lake from what I can see, so yeah, I think it's going to be a case of sitting and waiting. So while I'm doing that, I've got the kettle and I'll see you in a bit. Watch guys, just getting on for 9 o'clock. Just want to let you know, I've seen a couple of fish in the area, so I feel like I'm in the right spot. One was just halfway out, almost straight out in front. The other one was down the margin to my right hand side, and I didn't actually see them, but I heard them and I saw where they splashed. One out in the open water could have been a pike, but I wasn't too sure. One down the edge sounded very carpy, so yeah, feels like I'm in the right spot. But nothing on the rods yet, no twitchies, no liners, but just a case of waiting. I mean, I do feel more confident having seen a couple of fish showing in the area. But it's one thing being in the right spot, which you need to be in, but another thing to get them to take the bait. But time will tell. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Hello again guys, just gone 12 o'clock. And as you will probably be able to hear, it's actually hammering down. Yeah, really miserable. But I was expecting this, hence the brolly being set up in anticipation. So yeah, it was forecast, but it's really bucketing down. One poor fellow over the other side, he didn't have his brolly with him, and I think it's got to him. I think he's gone home early. Yeah, I've just seen him pull the gear away. But yeah. It's not looking very nice. I've just seen another fish show out in front of me, but again, it could be a pike. Didn't look particularly carpy, but still nothing on the rods. Still very quiet. But we're sort of just coming up to the time now where I'd expect something to happen if it was going to. But still sitting here, still waiting, and yeah. Who knows? Will it or won't it? It's part of fishing. Anyway, catch you in a bit. Good morning. It's a bloody cold morning it is. We've got the bigs on the east too at the moment. It's -3 on the temperature scale, but other reports are saying it's going to be feeling like -7 today, so I must be bloody mad. But I'm back down on Watergate Farm and a bit happy to see that the water is wobbly, so that's all good. That's a good start. and I'm just having a look around the lake, see if I can find any fish or see any fish. I think I've seen one so far, so I'm going to keep an eye on the water and just see if he shows his head again, just to make sure it was a carp. It wasn't a duck or anything. And there's a little bit of sleet coming down at the moment. If there's any wet stuff does come down, it's going to come down as snow. But it should, in theory, stay dry. But we'll see about that. Anyway, I'm going to carry on looking at the lake and decide where I'm going to set up. And I'll catch you in a bit. Morning, guys, and welcome back. So, as I said in the intro earlier, actually back at Watergate Farm. Obviously, it's my local lake. We're still in lockdown, but it is a hard water, hard in the summer, even harder in the winter. So it's no easy going, especially today. We've got pretty horrendous conditions, really. It doesn't look like it, but it is bitterly cold. We've got a beast from the east too coming in. There's heavy snow down on the east coast of England. Just missing us. We had a slight scattering of like powder yesterday, and it's trying to snow at the moment, but the temperature, the forecast is -3 today, going down to -1, but with the wind chill factor, and it is quite breezy, it's going down to, well, it's going to feel like -7, so it's a pretty cold day. It must be pretty nuts to be out, but like they say, you've got to be in it to win it. Anyway, I've got all my warm gear on, thermals, big winter suit, so I should be okay. But I don't feel cold at the moment, but then I've been walking around the lake and setting up. I've got one rod over towards an island on the left hand rod, and right hand rod, which is actually in the swim next door. I'm using 2 swims at the moment because I can, because there's no one else down here that it's interfering with. If someone was to come in and want to use one of these swims, I'd have to give it up. Or if they wanted to fish into one of the waters I'm fishing, I'd have to give it up. So yeah, so I'm sort of edging my bets. One rod over to the island over there, and the right hand rod is towards the island just to my right. It's just an underarm flick over to there. So nothing on the rods. I've been out for about a quarter of an hour. I've had no liners or nothing. I've had a big pike swell just right in front of the rod tip on the left hand rod. Fortunately, it didn't catch the line. But let's see what happens. Like I say, it's a cold wind. It's trying to snow. I was trying to abstain from putting the bivvy up, but I think I will, just for a bit of comfort, and make sure the gear stays dry in this sleet shower. But yeah, it's just a case now of sitting and waiting. Swim choice, I've had a walk around the lake. It took me an hour before I could decide where to fish. I was trying to think like a carp and where I'd like to be. Now I did see something show in front of this swim to my left here as I was walking around. I'm not sure if it was a carp. It sounded carpy. It was still quite dark then, but anyway, it's the only sort of carpy sign I've seen. We're sort of on the back of the wind. The wind's coming from the left here, and it's coming straight across the lake. The swim's at the back there. There's 2 guys fishing over on the swims there, and they're on the back of the wind. It's flat calm in front of them. Likewise on the other side of the lake over there, at the other top of the U shape, flat calm, and the breeze is coming down, and it's quite strong in areas. Now, swim number 1, where I usually fish, is being battered by the wind. Doesn't feel comfortable over there at all. I've seen a fish over here, and we're sheltered by this sort of spit that I'm fishing on, and yeah, it's quite calm in front of me here, so it feels quite comfortable to me to be here. Hopefully it feels comfortable to the carp as well. Likewise on the back of the island to the right here, it's on the back of the wind. I'm on a nice flat spot behind the island. Now if I was a carp trying to keep warm, those are the areas I'd be in, but we all know these carp have their own minds and they want to be where they want to be, and it's not always where the textbooks say they should be, and it's not always where you think they should be. So the best thing to do is keep your ears and eyes open, see if they give themselves away, and if they do, up sticks and get on them. So I didn't want to put the brolly up unless I really had to, but I think common sense prevails, and I've got to keep comfort in these conditions. Like I say, it's going to be feeling like -7 in the wind, so any shelter I can give myself for that is only going to be a benefit, but I will keep my ears and eyes open at the same time. Anyway, let's get the brolly up and then get the kettle on. Okay, watch guys, well the brolly's up, give me a bit of respite from the wind, which is nice. Like I said earlier, right hand rod, fishing just about half a rod length, 3/4 of rod length off the middle of that island over there, and the wind is picking up again, and it's actually shifted a bit now. It was coming off the island, and I thought there was a nice flat spot behind the island. The wind is turning slightly, so there's a bit more of a chop in there than there was earlier. Anyway, let's keep it there for a while, we'll see what happens. And in front to the other island, on the left hand side, is a little bit more still. It's not getting as much chop as over here. So yeah, the wind is picking up again, and it's changed direction slightly, so something to keep an eye on. So I am fishing semi-slack lines on both rods. There's not a lot of distance between me and the right hand rod, it's literally an underarm flick, so chances of getting liners on that are very slim. Whereas the left hand rod is about 7 wraps out, so there's a bit more line between me and the bait, so there's a chance of picking up some liners if there's any fish in that area. Now, like I said, I'm fishing 2 completely different spots. I'm fishing for liners, I've no indications yet. I think I saw a carp near my left hand rod this morning. That's one of the reasons why I came in the swim. But until I get any indication or I see any movement on the water, it's just a case of sitting tight and seeing what gives. So I'll catch up with you in a bit if anything happens. Watch you guys. Well, it's getting a bit more blizzard like. This very small sort of sleet, there's a lot of it coming down and it's starting to settle on the ground. So yeah, cold, but nothing to report on the rods. I've seen a couple of bits of movement to my left, on my left hand rod. A couple of fish just in the margins, just down to the left. Now whether they're pike or not, I don't know. It's hard to work out, but it's the only movement I've seen so far. And I must admit, a couple of them sounded quite carpy. I don't think they were pike. So hopefully I'm in the right area. I'll give it a bit longer. And if I keep seeing movement down in the margins to my left, I may bring my right hand rod over and just underarm it, just down on the left hand margin. But like I say, nothing to report except for the blizzard. But, so I say blizzard, it's like a micro blizzard, but it's like I say, it's coming down at such a rate that it's starting to settle on the ground. So anyway, I'll get back in the shelter and I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, just coming up for midday, still nothing happening on the rods. I pulled the right hand rod in and I've just seen a little bit of action going on around this willow tree to my left. So I've kept the left hand rod where it was, that's now my right hand rod, pulled my right hand rod and I've just literally plonked it amongst the fronds of the willow, just literally almost under the rod tip, just down here to my left, just on the tips of the willow tree. Now when I put it out, about 30 seconds later, I put it out, cast it out, put the rod on the deck, and I was just walking away and there's a massive swell, a boil underneath the willow. And I must admit, I was expecting to look round and see my rod on the deck sliding across. That wasn't the case, but I really thought it was something that actually picked it up straight away. It was a massive boil. I mean, it was big. So whether I spooked something or not, but it wasn't straight as I put the bait in. It's about 30 seconds or so after. So a bit weird. And then there's a second boil just behind the willow. So there's at least 2 fish in there. One right under the willow and one just further around to my left. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. But anyway, I put the rod on the buzzer and set back under the bivvy, and then a little while ago another swell just off the edge of the willow. So I'm not sure what's going on, whether it's pike or not, I don't know, but there's definitely movement there. And honestly, I really thought when I saw that big boil, I thought that's a fish taking off with a bait. It was the old underneath the willow just came up massive. So anyway, I'm waffling, but just thought I'd keep you updated. So I've moved my right hand rod. My right hand rod's now my left hand rod, just down the edge here next to the willow tree. And what was my left hand rod, now my right hand rod, I've not touched it. That's still against the island straight out. So let's see what happens. But yeah, there's definitely fish activity under this willow of some description, and I can't get up. Ah, there you go. Okay, so there I was, not having a cup of tea this time. I was actually just having a quick look on Facey B. Right hand rod, pulls up tight, look around, no tufties or coots or anything anywhere. Can only be one thing, and it's a lovely Watergate mirror. Well, I've rated it and made it £32.12. Charlie's just come round. We've weighed it, and we're going to detract the sling to get a true weight from Charlie's scales. It's roughly 31.12 when I weighed it, so it's roughly 32 pound. But we'll let you know in a minute exactly what it weighs. It's a lovely fish. What's it called, Charlie? Two-tone. So it's known as two-tone. And there we go. Absolutely stunning chunk. All the weight is on the head end. Oh, towards my head. Absolutely stunning fish. Gave a hell of a tussle. Got it just behind a set of old dime pads. There's enough of those pads there to cause me a bit of a problem. Had to get a bit of pressure on. Eventually came out, started carting to the right, and then she was mine. Yeah, what a fish. That is a brute. I'll show the other side. Not bad considering when I got down here it was -3, -7 they say in the wind chill.
It's still about
And we've had a bit of snow, a bit of sleet, and the snow's disappearing from the ground, but there's still bits there. Yeah. That's right. Still a little bit of snow on the ground, but it's slowly going. So is it a snow carp? I don't know, Charlie, is it a snow carp? Not quite. Fair enough. But it's cold enough. This has made my day. I thought I was nuts coming down here this morning. And yeah, I thought I was absolutely bonkers coming out in those conditions today. But when you get something like that, it's definitely worthwhile. Lovely stuff. Let's get you back. Alright. Okay guys, so we weighed the fish for a second time. On Charlie's scales it's making exactly 32 pound. So yeah, 31.12, 32. Charlie's scales look better than mine, so I'm going to go with a 32. But anyway, do you have an idea how cold it is? I don't know if you can see that, but this is the net I landed that fish in a little while ago, and it's frozen solid. Look, stiff as a board. See that? So it gives you an idea exactly how cold it is here today. It is freezing. So anyway, I'm going to get this back over by the rods just in case, and yeah, you never know. Okay, so this is the rig I've just caught that fish on. It's tied using a stiff rig straight hook from Fox in a size 4, and to that I tie a length of hair tight to the eye of the hook, but it's held in place on the shank using a bit of silicone tube, again from the Fox range, and that just holds it in position nicely on the shank of the hook. I've got a 15mm wafter boilie on there, and it just gives a nice length. To the hook itself I've got a doubled over section of rigidity in 30 pound, and that is tied combi link style using the Albright knot to some Camotex semi-stiff, and I'm using 20 pound there, and it's just got a little section just by the hook that's pulled back and just gives a little bit of movement like so. Over the knot I've put a little bit of shrink tube, just a tiny bit, and that does two jobs. One, it protects the knot and helps make it stronger, but it also I've got the line coming out eyeliner style, so in line with the front of the hook, so it comes out the front. But the shrink tube, what it also does is stops any tag ends from the rigidity, because it's really stiff stuff, the rigidity. But the shrink tube just tucks those any slight tags you may have inside, so they don't get caught on the net, because the last thing you want to happen is to have a fish in the net and the hook length gets stuck in the net, and you may damage the fish's mouth when you go to lift it out. So yeah, double over section of rigidity, tied all bright knot, and then the shrink tube over the top using a liner sort of system with the line coming out the front of the tubing. I've got about a 12-inch hook length with the camshaft stiff and a couple of blobs of putty down the hook length just to hold it down on the deck, and then a anti-tangle sleeve which is on there to allow it to also be used onto a quick link swivel, which allows me well, first of all, it's easy to swap rigs using the quick link swivels, but I like to use them because when it goes, you've got the fish in the net, you can actually take the link off of the main line using the quick link. The fish I just caught was on the running lead system, and this is using the Fox running lead clip, and I just cut the tag off just about there, and it just enables me to push the anti-tangle tubing into the end of the bead there. On the other section, you can take this little plug out, put the lead swivel inside, push the plug back in, and it locks the lead in place. You can use the Fox PVA little tags if you wanted to drop the lead. I don't on this. I don't see the need. If you was ever to get cut off or crack off, it's such a big diameter tube, it would just slide up the line and the lid will come off, so there's no danger of any sort of tethered fish using this rig. And so the finished rig would be something like that. So that was what I just caught that 30-pounder on. Watch guys, it's just gone 4 o'clock. The wind's picking up again, it's getting mighty chilly. Well, it's been bloody chilly all day. And when I got up this morning and seeing the forecast, I thought I needed my head testing. I know the missus did. Not that she needed her testing, she thought I needed mine testing. And yeah, she thought I was absolutely crazy going fishing today. And I must admit, I thought so too. It's been bitter. It's not been much above freezing, if at all, today. And with the wind, it's definitely feeling below 0. It's very, very bitter, like I say. The wind's picking up a bit stronger now. There's still a bit of snow on the ground. Not much. We had a little bit of sunshine to come out and tried to burn it off. And yeah, what can I say? Come out in those conditions, not really expecting much, and then to have a fish, and not just have a fish, have one of the A team. Yeah, absolutely made up, absolutely buzzing. Absolutely, yeah, I can't put into words how I feel at the moment. I'm absolutely made up. And like I say, it's starting to get a bit dark now. It's just gone 4 o'clock, so I put most of the stuff on the barrow, just the rods and the camera to go. I'm not going to give it too much longer. I've just had a liner, I think, from a pike, because I did remove the left hand rod out to the same sort of distance as the right hand rod I had the fish on, so they're both going out towards the island. I know that could be too many lines in the same area, but after all the commotion just down in the edge here, I didn't feel it was going to happen down there anyway, so I did flick it out. And just as I was going to set this camera up, off it went, and then there's a big swell in front of the rod tip, and I'm assuming it was a pike catching the line. So did get my ticker going again, but anyway, I've had enough excitement for the day. And all I can say is thanks for watching. and yeah, until next time, stay safe, and if you are getting out on the bank in these cold days, be lucky. I'll see you next time. Take care.